It's so much more difficult to talk about a book you haven't read of before. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to come back because I've been wanting to film this video for so long. I've had all these books just sitting in a box because I'm like, I'm gonna film a haul. I'm gonna film a haul, and I never got around to it. So this week I said we're gonna do it. So I have 18 books here that I bought over the winter, some back in November, all the way until today. And well, 19 if we count the one that I bought today. That's not here yet. That will be shipped here. But yeah, let's get into them. So I have 19 books. These books came from a lot of different places. I got some from Book Outlet over the winter last year, some from Book Fairy. So in one of my Discord servers, we just started doing Book Fairy. So I have a wish list and we share those books and people buy us books and then we exchange and trade with other people. It's really fun. I also got some from little free libraries where I did a little trade on some books that I owned and then put them in the library and got some really good deals. I'm really excited about the books that I got. In my city, some people just put books on the street. So some of these books came literally on the street saying free. And I'm like, I'll take that book. That sounds really good. And then, of course, we got Barnes and Noble. I also did go to some local bookstores. I don't try and spend a lot of money at Barnes and Noble or Amazon besides my book fairy because it's easier to send people books when on Amazon. But I do want to support some local bookstores. So I did buy a couple books from there. And some of them are getting shipped. So let's start off with the first book. You'll notice through all of these books that I'm sharing with you that I have a favorite genre that I like. A lot of these books, I think majority of them, I'm looking at them right now. All of them are sci-fi fantasy, except actually I don't know what this but one of these books are, but it might be a sci-fi fantasy. If not, I tend to not buy a lot of literary fiction yet just because I feel like it's hit or miss, but I feel like science fiction, fantasy, I can get away with it. My dog is staring at me right now while I film this video. Anyway, let's start off with Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I feel like if you read a lot of sci-fi fantasy, you definitely know who Ursula K. Le Guin is. She has won Hugo and Nebula Awards. I have Earthsea on my shelf right here. Left Hand of Darkness, from what I understand, sci-fi novel. It'll explore themes of gender, identity, and humanity. And I'm excited about that because not knowing for sure like when this book came out, the fact that it explores themes of like gender, identity, I think that that is very new, not new. New is not the correct word, but different from the time that this book came out. And that was year 1969 this book came out. Wow. I'm excited to get into this. The back says a lone human ambassador is sent to the icebound planet of Winter, a world without sexual prejudice, where the inhabitants' gender is fluid. 1969, and this is still going to be relevant today. I'm like getting more. Oh gosh, I'm getting more excited about these books now than when I bought them. Next book I have here is Benty by Nnedi Okorafor. And this is a little tiny novella. I think it was recommended. Oh, look, Ursula K. Le Guin's name's on the back as a blurb, and also N.K. Jemisin, another author that I love so much. She also has like written a blurb for this book. So I was like, let me check it out. It's a series, but I only have the first one, and this is pretty much about a girl named Benty, and she goes to a university in space. But in this little tiny novel, she's going to have to try and merge the relationship between humanity, humans, and the people in space. I think they're called the Medusa. Like this is in this little tiny book, so I'm getting excited again, like I said. But yes, this is Benty by Nnedi Okorafor. Next, we have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. You'll probably see the sticker here. where I got this from Book Outlet. So, Book Outlet books kind of have like stickers and they're like over inventory. So they always come like fun and different. So I have like a Walmart price sticker on here, even though I didn't get this from Walmart. But Legends of Lattes is like a cozy fantasy set in like a cafe, from what I know, with its like monsters you can see on the cover. And it's just going to be like, when I think about reading this book, I'm thinking about warmth, cozy, having a nice cup of hot chocolate or coffee on your side while you read this. And it's going to be about fostering community. And I definitely will get to this. I know the sequel just came out to this. There's a few special editions that I've seen and they look fantastic, but I just got the regular, normal one. Next, we have The Deep by Rivers Solomon. This book has been on my TBR for a while now. The blurb, it kind of reminds me of Homegoing, a book that I just read. Probably Homegoing was my only we're only in March, but it's been my only 5-star book of the year so far. And Homegoing is about like two sisters who don't know they're sisters. They never actually meet. And the book kind of just goes through their timeline from the African slave trade, where one family stays in Africa, the other family is sent off into the States. And we just follow different generations of each of their families and see how they kind of come together at the end. So The Deep follows people. From what I understand is, during the African slave trade, a lot of people know that people got thrown overboard during the travel from Africa to the Americas. So The Deep follows the people who were thrown overboard, who create an underwater society. And then we follow this one character who goes on and embarks on like a self-discovery, self-exploration to figure out who she is. And I'm really excited about that. I am getting my TBR is very long. And as I'm revisiting these books that have sat in this box for months now, I'm like, okay, now I know. And then I don't know, like when I read these or when you look these up and you're like, this sounds so good. You're like, I only want good books in my physical possession, like in my personal library. Another water book, we have The Mountain and the Sea by Ray Naylor. I'm not going to lie, guys. When I saw this book at Barnes& and Noble, it wasn't this cover, but it was another cover. And I was like, octopus. I want this. I don't even know what it was. I did not buy it from Barnes& and Noble at the time. But I saw it and I did put it on my TBR because there's another book that has an octopus or a squid on it. I believe it's called Remarkable Bright Creatures. And I was supposed to read this with a friend, but that we never got around to it. I'm not sure if this is I mean, it does sound sci-fi, but I could believe an octopus in real life developing its own language and culture. So we follow a marine biologist who has spent her life researching this octopus intelligence, and she will do anything for a chance to study them. She travels to the island, she joins the team, passes all the security, and the world's first and possibly, okay, this is sci-fi, androids, yes. The octopuses hold the key to unprecedented breakthroughs in extra human intelligence. So this is a near future thriller, a meditation on the nature of consciousness. A near future thriller, a meditation on the nature of consciousness, and an ecological call to arms. So this is probably going to be about I'm thinking from what I just read, this is going to be hitting points on how we treat our nature, especially with the way that we're going with our society and all of the damage that we're doing to our ecosystem and to the ocean. So that sounds fun. This is The Mountain and the Sea, and I wanted to show, I don't know what it's supposed to be, but there's some stuff on the side. Like maybe it's like badly done and that's why it got sold to me. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but still that's fun. Next, I have The Iron Widow. If you've been on Book Talk, you've probably heard of The Iron Widow. I've seen it around, but it wasn't until one of my friends read this book and she rated it 5 stars. She said, women who do badass things, yes. And I was like, you know what? I like women who do badass things. I want to read this book. This book follows Zetian. Zeshin. Zeshin joins a military program. She's trying to seek vengeance and revenge on her friend, I believe, in this patriarchal military society. She is going to navigate. This is going to have like political intrigue, monstrous creatures. And I was like, yes, yes. And I believe the sequel, there's been some issues with the author and them trying to get this book, the sequel, out. But if I like this, that's one of the reasons why I decided I haven't really gotten into this. I'm like, if this ends on a cliffhanger and I don't have the second book, I'm going to be mad, sad. So I hope that the author can get through their get their publishing issues worked out and that we can all get the second book. My next book that I have here is The Book of Goose. If you've been, I was going to say if you've been on TikTok, but I think this is a very niche book where people have told me, oh, this is the best book I've ever read. But then you go on Goodreads and you're like, the reviews are saying otherwise. So I kind of like that. When a book has like 3.6, 3.5, I feel like it's a good book because you have people that are like, I didn't get it, and then they downrate it, or then you have the people that are like, oh my God, I got it. So I feel like this is going to make me think, this is going to make me sad. And the cover is just gorgeous. I actually saw this in Barnes & Noble when I went through in there today in the paperback, and I was like, yeah, but I got this from the book outlet, and it was probably less than $6. I don't remember now. But yeah, eventually I will read this. Fabian's dead. Her childhood best friend Agnes receives news in America, far from the French countryside where the two girls were raised, the place that Fabian helped Agnes escape 10 years ago. Now Agnes is free to tell her story. Yi Yun Lee, don't make me cry, please, when I read this. I think I want to get through this year. My goal, gosh, I have to update my physical TBR, but I do want to read more physical books this year. When I come out with my March books, you're going to be shocked because I'm going to have a lot of physical books. And some of them are from the, my books fell. My dogs. Okay, a lot's happening now. Cut. The next book I have here, this author, he needs no introduction. If you like fantasy, you know Brandon Sanderson. I have read Mistborn. I've read The Well of Ascension. I own Trust of the Emerald Sea. I own Way of Kings. Yes, those they're still on my TBR. But if Mistborn is anything to go by when it comes to Brandon Sanderson, I don't even own Mistborn, but I do own those two books. And then I also own Elantris. I hear that this is one of Brandon Sanderson's best or most popular books. This is based on a city of the gods, a place of power, radiance, and magic. Visitors say that the very stones glowed with an inner light and that the cities contain wondrous arcane marvels. I'm excited about this one, to get into this one. It kind of reminds me, and I'm wondering if you've ever read A Court of Mist and Fury, the second book to ACOTAR, or even the second book. And this is kind of how like I picture Valeris, the city, to be looking like. I don't know. I'll post a picture on. But I wonder if Valeris was based, like if it was based on or a nod to Elantris. But probably not, right? But I would hope like a nod to like one of the best fantasy writers of our time. Yeah, I'll get to this one day. I'm excited to have this one. I've heard this is a book outlet book. So, book outlet, it's like $5 for this big book. If you don't get it, you're going to miss out on it. So you have to get it. The next book that I have is ripping the internet, ripping fantasy readers, science fiction readers apart. And that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This book, when I ordered this, it took months to get here. That's how hard it was to get this book. I have seen no special editions of this anywhere, so I had to get the hardback. If you have noticed, I prefer paperbacks, but sometimes you got to get what you got to get. This, I believe, I got either through my local bookstore from ordering it, which I believe I did get it from there. And this is not just, but from what I understand, this is like a dark academia, AI type, I'm going to get revenge, avenge my family type book. And it's only book 1 in the series. So I'm like, heck yes, I need it and I need to read it. The font, I don't even know what I'm showing. The font is so small. I wish it came in paperback, but it will eventually. I just didn't want to wait. But it will look really pretty on my shelf. Did we talk about To Kill a Mockingbird? No? To Kill a Mockingbird. This is the book that I got on the street for free. I read To Kill a Mockingbird, I think in high school, maybe in middle school. I don't remember. It's a classic. You read this one. What is the child's name? What is the child's name? Scout. You follow Scout, a little child, where she's in like somewhere in the South, in a southern town. You follow her and her father. Her father is a lawyer, I believe. Um, the lawyer, her father, Atticus, he's defending a black man in this town. And To Kill a Mockingbird is a classic. I believe it's on a bunch of ban lists now in some southern states. So it's really, I remember liking this when I read it in school. And I really want to explore this again now that I'm older and have a better understanding. I remember there's like one scene, you know how they say like when children, you're not supposed to say the N word or whatever, and then you have like there's like a scene in this where there's someone says the N word and you're like, ooh, you do like the popcorn reading at school. I remember that happening. But yeah, I want to explore this again now that I'm older. I have not read the sequel, but I do remember thinking like, why would they do that to Atticus and like make him a racist? But I haven't read it or even digested it as an adult to even make those type of decisions. But yeah, I felt like, heck yeah, I want this on my personal shelf in my personal collection. Next, we also have Robin Hobb's The Assassin's Apprentice. I did not know Robin. I knew Robin Hobb. I heard of Robin Hobb. I've heard of the Farseer trilogy. People say if you want to cry, if you want to root, if you want to just be in awe on this world that Robin Hood has created, read the Assassin's Apprentice. I know that there's another edition of the book that's really pretty and like I've seen many editions of this book and never thought to even just pick it up myself, but it was on Book Outlet, not the cover that I've seen, the pretty cover, but I had to pick it up nonetheless and hope to see the rest of the series on Book Outlet so it can all match. A fun book. I have no idea what this book is about. I probably shouldn't have taken this book, but it is on my list, the series. This is book 3 in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This is A Dragon Reborn. This is a series that's been on my TBR for a very long time. I picked up book 3 from a little free library. I got so excited because I'm like, whoa, I know that offer. I know this series. I want it. I got really excited. So now I'm like, I need to get book 1 and 2 and I need to hope they match. And it's just so nice. Used books are so fun. I can go to a used bookstore downtown and get the rest of the series perhaps, or the first 2 books. The next book I got from the small business in my city. This is The Hunger Games. This was like $5. Everyone and their mother knows Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games. There was the prequel that just came out in theaters. Um, so this was fun. I actually, when I went to the bookstore today, they had the second book and I didn't get it. It was also like $5 and I should have, but I was like, I shouldn't. I shouldn't. I can't be buying more books. I do want to read The Hunger Games again because I actually haven't read it since high school. So I was like, that's so exciting. I'm excited to have this in my collection again for $5 hardback. The next book I have is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the ninth house duology, maybe a trilogy series. Let's just say series. I think it's a duology, and I own Hellbent. I own ninth house, so I was like, I definitely want to just have Hellbent when I do get around to them. You'll notice that my physical TBR is very long. I have not even read ninth house yet, but Leigh Bardugo, she's an author I really love. Six of Crows duology is one of my favorite duologies of all time. So good. And I was just like, to my book fairy, just get it for me, Thank you so much to the person who got me Hellbent. Got a few more books left and you could see them right here actually. But we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. And this Hardbacks I don't prefer, but this kind where it's no sleeve needed and it's just the hard, like the actual hardback with the print on it, these are my preferred hardbacks. And I was so excited to get this one. I actually have read half of this book. I got to like page 160 when I took this out on Libby, and then they snatched it away. I actually had a hard time getting into this book. I'm not the biggest, I shouldn't say I'm not a big fan, but I do like excitement in my books. So when we talk about like cozy slice of life books, they're not something I like gravitate towards. I like fighting, I like action, I like political intrigue. I like to see shit shake, you know? So when I first picked this up, when it like a while ago, long like maybe last year, I took it out on Libby. I got to like the first chapter and was like, no, this is not for me. Then I joined a buddy read with a few of my friends. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. Why was this book so good? Shockingly so. Exceeded my expectations. And usually I have the 5 chapter rule where it's like, I'll give the book 5 chapters. And I DNF'd this before the 5 chapters. There's a cat coming. Hi, babes. Okay. But yeah, I got halfway through this, and then my Libby rental ran out. You know, I put my Kindle on Do Not Disturb. Then I was reading another book and then removed the book, and then it took my Kindle off Do Not Disturb. I lost this book. I almost cried. And then my book fairy book fairied me and bought me this. So I actually haven't finished it, and I do want to finish it, but I think I'm going to start over and actually annotate it. I also ordered the Fairy Loot version of Map of the Otherlands, the sequel to this book. So that won't be coming until July. But maybe I'll be book faired for the other book as well. Next, we have Paran Nessie by Susanna Clark. I've already read this book. So another thing about my physical library, you know, my up and coming library, because it's not a library and not even close. I want to collect books that I have loved, where I'm just like, this was the best thing ever. Paran Nessie, 5 stars for me. I never read anything like this before. It's kind of like Pan's Labyrinth, where there's this person, this entity that's pretty much stuck in a a series of rooms of different weather patterns, and they pretty much don't know anything but this labyrinth. And they know this one guy, and this guy that like tells them to do stuff. And we just follow Paran Nessie and Paran Nessie's house and their exploration of the place. Some people say it's a little boring in the beginning, and then it just gobsmacks you and you're like, what the hell am I reading? One of the best books ever. I can't wait to reread this. We have The House of Leaves by Mark Z. Daniel Lewinsky. You probably see it a little bit tabbed. I did start reading this one. My last tab is on page 35. But I was doing a buddy rate with this one, but my aunt was like, let's do books on houses. My aunt and I, you know, I talked about our book club we're doing. She was like, let's do books on houses. So I was like, okay, House of Leaves. I am happy to have someone pretty much hold my hand as I read this book because I'm very scared of what I'm going to find. I know it's a horror book. That's like a new genre that I'm kind of like low-key exploring. And this is like, I think of like Monster House. If you've ever seen Monster House, the animated movie, this is kind of the vibes I get when I think of this book. It's pretty much a house that's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and it's like this family who pretty much vlogs their time in this house. And they have like kids. You know, when kids get involved, shit's gonna be fucking weird. So I just got to the beginning. I was doing a buddy read with this one. Someone finished it. I think they rated it 3 stars because they're like, what the heck is happening? But yeah, House of Leaves. Some of the pages look like this. So they say get the paperback version. I was actually gifted to this by my book fairy, and then my book fairy was like, let's read it. So yeah, I'm excited to read this next month. And I'm actually going to be doing a reading vlog where I'm going to like come back and share a video with you guys on my reaction while reading this book. The last book that I have physically on me is Words of Radiance. I actually got this last week. I was leaving the gym. There was a little free library near my gym. I was just walking. I think a lot of people love this one. This is like book 2 to The Way of Kings. I actually had Words of Radiance on my list for my book fairy. Like, oh, maybe someone will get it for me because I like paperbacks. But I was walking, minding my business, and then I passed the little free library and just saw this. And I was like, what's going on? There was also Interior Chinatown in it. And I was just like, I don't have anything to trade. So I'm not going to get 2 books, but I'm definitely not going to pass up on this. Words of Radiance, like I said, it's book 2 in The Way of Kings, the Stormlight Archive. I definitely have to read Way of Kings. And someone I follow on Twitter, on BookTwit, they actually are reading Way of Kings and they're getting me so excited for the book. So I'm like, I need to read it now. So I'm actually doing a buddy read in that one for May because my April TBR is already full and it's only mid-March. But yeah, so the funny story, I immediately started looking up what are the rules to a little free library because I didn't have another book, but I was like, I know I'm going to come back. So I actually went home. I took the book, went home, grabbed a book that I was like, I'm not sure when I'm going to read this one. I'll trade this in. Then I was like, maybe Interior Chinatown will be there because that's also on my TBR. Maybe Interior Chinatown will be there and I can get that one too. Interior Chinatown wasn't there. The Dragon Reborn was there, so I did grab it, traded in 2 books for 2 books. And yeah, that was how I got Words of Radiance. And I'm like, this is crazy. People are so nice. So now, after every time I pass a little free library, I check it in. And I also carry another book on me just in case, gotta stay ready. So what did I order today at the bookstore? The bookstore today I ordered The Tainted Cup by Robert, looking at it right now. Not the book, but Robert Jackson Bennett. I ordered his new book called The Tainted Cup. I'm supposed to be doing a buddy read of that now, but I don't have the book and I'm like on Libby waitlist, on my physical library waitlist for it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to collect all his books anyway. I have Foundry Side and Shorefall here now. I might as well just get it. So yeah, that one's coming. I ordered that. And then I just wanted to share this miscellaneous item that I also got from my book outlet haul. And that's this cute puzzle. Everything is made out of magic. How cute. It's like a thousand piece puzzle. And I'm like, I can make art out of this. This is a new hobby I'm going to be picking up, puzzle building, Lego building. But yes, guys, that is all the books that I got this winter. I think 18, 19 books that I said. And I'm on a ban. I'm banning myself unless I'm buying for someone else. These are not even including the Fairy Loot books. I am subscribed to Fairy Loot and I just got an Illumicrate invite. Yeah, so I ordered from Fairy Loot. I just ordered Map of the Otherlands, and then March 21st there is the sale of Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent that I will be getting. Yes. And then I'm thinking about canceling my subscription. I'm not sure if I want to keep it. I do want to get The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi. That was one of my favorite books last year. I think that was my #1 book of last year. And I actually joined Fairy Loot because I wanted that book, but I joined too late. But Fairy Loot does like a sale where they sell the books, subscription books of the prior year. So I'm like, I'm just going to hold on my subscription until that comes out, unless someone sells me their version. Then I just subscribed to Illumicrate, so I just bought one of their new books. I think it's going to be Fathom Folk. I'm not sure what the book is going to be, but I do like Illumicrate because they have like 10, 11 skips, whereas Fairy Loot only has 4 skips out of a year. I don't think you notice any of these are like romantasy books. So I do like a lot of like sci-fi, fantasy, that kind of split genre of books where there's more action. If you want a haul of all the Fairy Loot books that I have right now in my possession, please let me know. I do have the adult subscription. Um, and I'll let you know which ones that I want to read. They're all pretty much in the dust jacket because I'm really running out of space. This is my only real bookshelf. So all these books have to find a home until I get new bookshelves because I am redoing one of my rooms and making it into a library. So soon I'll have a new background. But yeah, that's enough of my rambling. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!